This video was made in collaboration with NARUTOPEDIA. For more information, check out the link in the description. The Life of Inojin Yamanaka from Naruto. Inojin Yamanaka is a genin and a member of Konohagakure's Yamanaka clan. Together with his teammates Chōchō Akimichi and Shikadai Nara, he forms the 17th generation of the Ino Shikacho trio. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the life of Inojin Yamanaka. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Background: Inojin is the only child of Ino and Sai Yamanaka. As his parents continued to stay close with their childhood friends over the years, Inojin ultimately came to know the various parents' respective kids well. On the day of the 7th Hokage's inauguration, he watched the ceremony with his parents and Shikadai. Academy Entrance Arc. In the anime, 2 weeks into his academy career, Inojin voiced his views on how Boruto was taking advantage of his father's status as Hokage. While Boruto brushed it off and offered to be friends, Inojin noted that he didn't trust Boruto with his nature. Later, he joined the rest of his class to watch the fight between Boruto and Iwabi Ueno, which he later intervened in as Iwabi decided to break his word. Ultimately, Boruto and Inojin's respective words resonated with Iwabi, ending the fight. The following day, Inojin defended Boruto, saying that he was actually trying to make a name for himself away from his father, and did what he did for his friends. After Boruto's failed attempt at Shuriken Jutsu caused property damage, Inojin and his friends were punished with repairing the damages to the Hokage Rock. The day after Shikadai had insulted Lee for his problems with anxiety, Inojin, Boruto, and Shikadai found Lee, who was acting unusually aggressive. A fight broke out between them, during which Inojin managed to trick his opponent and get him off his guard with the help of his drawings, which he used to simulate Shikadai's shadows. During a lesson about summoning techniques, Inojin and the other boys began bickering with the girls. Shino appeared, insisting that the boys and girls settle things with a race challenge for a flag. The challenge quickly got heated, with many of the boys being taken out of the contest until only Boruto, Shikadai, and Inojin were left on their team. Getting desperate, Boruto found a summoning scroll and miraculously summoned a snake-like creature. The creature went on a rampage, attacking the students and launching Chōchō Akimichi off the roof, to which Inojin helped Boruto save her. After the creature was subdued by the timely arrival of Konohamaru, the contest ended with the girls getting the flag. Despite their victory, the girls made peace with the boys. Later, the class gained a new transfer student from Otogakure named Mitsuki. Wanting the students to warm up to him, Shino organized a welcoming party for the new student. When Shino's efforts for the party backfired with his insects, the class began to freak out, with Denki begging someone to make the insects go away, which Mitsuki did with his wind release breakthrough, causing even more damage to the academy. Later, the class was assigned by Shino to split into groups of 3 and each tail a different workplace for a few days to better understand non-shinobi life. Inojin joined Lee in going to the fire department. While tailing their work, Inojin watched in embarrassment as Lee's social anxiety caused him to spray a fire hose about the place randomly. Later, Inojin checked on some of his friends after learning that they were hospitalized from a recent attack. After completing his assignment with the fire department, Inojin and Lee were approached by Shikadai, who recruited them to stop the attacker. Inojin and his friends met up at the post office to discuss their plans. After splitting up to patrol the village, the culprit of the attacks unleashed their shadow specter on the post chief, Komame. Inojin's group, however, quickly appeared, having anticipated this move as all their recent efforts were clearly being spied on. While half the team stayed to save the possessed Komame, Inojin's half pursued the masked culprit. While the post chief was saved, the specter and culprit ultimately got away. When another attack came, the area was closed off. Inojin, along with Denki and Shikadai, wondered where Boruto was, along with the missing Sumire. The following morning, they found Boruto, along with Sumire and Mitsuki, in the field. They were soon joined by Sai and his unit, who took Sumire in for questioning. As Denki asked what happened, Boruto happily brushed it off, saying everything was fine. Several weeks later, Shino decided to change up the 3-man teams for their next challenge to determine the optimum pairings for graduation. Inojin teamed up with Chōchō and Shikadai. When Iwabi noted that they were essentially forming the Ino Shikacho trio like their respective parents, the team admitted that their techniques were naturally compatible. Later, Inojin told his friends that his father has gathered files on academies and other villages, making Shikadai wonder if Sumire was going to leave the academy. During the team challenge to capture the flag, Inojin distracted Mitsuki long enough to let Shikadai pin Mitsuki down, but escaped with a launched needle. Mitsuki created a distraction long enough for Boruto to win the challenge. Shino was then called aside concerning Sumire. As the class began discussing rumors that Sumire was being transferred to a different school, they were relieved to see her return to their class. Sarada Uchiha Arc. Upon hearing that he and the rest of the class will be going through graduation exams in a week, Inojin was surprised how little some of his classmates cared about it. Later, Inojin continued his training under his father in artistic ninjutsu, noting that his father's style of drawing was so old-fashioned. Naruto Shinden, Parent and Child Day. When Konohagakure began a new annual holiday, Parent and Child Day, Inojin spent it with his father, during which they were accompanied by Shikadai, Metal, and their respective fathers. Later, he and Sai entered an eating competition, which ultimately left them sick from overeating and disqualified. At their home, Inojin laughs on as Sai rests in Ino's lap following the end of Parent and Child Day. School Trip Arc. In the anime, to improve relationships with other villages and symbolically show the warring era was over, the 7th Hokage set up an official class trip for the academy to go to Kirigakure. Upon arriving, they met Kagura Karatachi, who was appointed to act as the class's tour guide. The class was then taken to meet Chojuro, the 6th Mizukage, and welcomed the class to the village. The following night, while waiting for Denki to return from his shopping, Inojin, Boruto, and Shikadai received a message in blood that Denki was kidnapped and that the culprits demanded Denki's friends come to the pier. Once arriving, the culprits were revealed to be Tsurushi Hachiya, an old classmate of Kagura and his delinquent gang. As they began mocking Kagura's relationship with the Konoha Nin, they attacked the visiting class. After defeating their enemies, to cheer up Kagura, they invited him to play a card game with them. Later, when Boruto and Sarada were acting strangely, Inojin and Shikadai decided to follow them. To their surprise, they instead found Mitsuki talking secretly with Suigetsu Hozuki. He instructed Mitsuki not to get involved with Shizuma Hoshigaki and his team, but Mitsuki plainly rejected the offer. While trying to make sense of this, Inojin and Shikadai were taken by surprise by Suigetsu. While not understanding what was happening, the two nervously agreed to help Mitsuki. Graduation Exams Arc. In the anime, after returning to Konoha, Inojin began photocopying his Super Beast imitating drawing instead of drawing them due to finding it exhausting. Using the photocopies in training, Inojin discovered that he had lost the ability to maintain the technique. Following his father's advice on the matter, Inojin entered a children's drawing contest but loses to Himawari Uzumaki. Sai offers Inojin vague advice on why he's no longer able to perform the technique, believing it will benefit his son more by discovering the solution on his own. However, Inojin's frustration builds, which causes him to instead ask his mother to teach him the mind-body switch technique, but is unsuccessful while utilizing it in a training battle. After discovering an old drawing he made of him and his family together when he was a child, Inojin finds motivation to learn about art and seeks Himawari for help. He then learns from her the importance of putting heart and emotion into his art, as he rescues her drawing by finally being able to perform the technique properly again. Later, as graduation was nearing, Inojin was interviewed about his goals for the future. He was also later interviewed by Sukiya, a freelance reporter, for an article, where he states his desire to be able to continue drawing art whilst making money. Later, taking up Shino's subtle offer to try stealing the test answers for the written portion of the Genin exams, Inojin and his friends were able to pass the test. The next day, the students were set against academy teachers and Kakashi Hatake during the 24-hour practical portion of the exams. While the teachers would still evaluate the students' respective improvements, their true test was against the Hokage. As the test began, the Ino Shikacho trio fought Anko Midarashi alongside other students, which resulted in them all being defeated and captured. During the night, his classmates rescued the restrained students after they defeated Anko. Strategizing, all the students transformed into copies of Boruto and attacked Kakashi, during which they got into position to restrain him so Boruto could grab his bell. During their struggle, the exam reached its time limit. Despite not getting the bell, Kakashi chose to pass everyone as they succeeded in the test's true goal: teamwork and loyalty. Having become a genin, the Ino Shikacho trio was placed on Team 10 under Moegi Kazumatsuri's leadership. Genin Mission Arc. In the anime, the 7th Hokage personally assigned Team 10 their first mission, which involved chauffeuring around a client. Inojin was annoyed that Chōchō had to carry nothing during it, while he and Shikadai carried the client's shopping around Konoha. Byakuya Gang Arc. In the anime, with the continued thefts performed by the Byakuya Gang throughout Konoha, Team 10 was assigned alongside other genin teams to help stop the thieves. However, they weren't permitted to engage the gang without aid from a higher-ranked shinobi. While protesters began accusing the Kaminarimon Company of corrupt practices, Team 10 was tasked with being stationed at a key point during the protest. When Shikadai ran off during their assignment, Inojin and Chōchō followed him, during which they are joined by Boruto and told that he believed the Ninjutsu Research Center was being targeted by the Byakuya Gang. Arriving at the institute, the Genin discovered that it was robbed, and they were given a way to track the thieves by Katasuke Tono. Catching up to the gang, Inojin and Chōchō faced the majority of the group while Shikadai and Boruto chased after Gekko and Ryogi. Defeating all but one of the thieves, Shikamaru Nara arrived and defeated the final member. Acknowledging that it was an urgent situation, Shikamaru let the pair off the hook for engaging in battle, much to their relief. Versus Momoshiki Arc. As Moegi presented the Chunin exam's application papers to Inojin and his teammates, he and Shikadai had doubts about entering as they considered themselves rookies. Having cold feet about the situation, Moegi resorted to handing the pair letters from their mothers, which frighteningly persuaded them to take part in the exams. Remembering that they organized to meet up with Boruto, the boys hurried off to Lightning Burger. There, the three Genin play a video game together. When Boruto offers to give them his data to make the game easier, Inojin reacts with disappointment, along with Shikadai, to find out that Boruto had been cheating while they were playing. Following the entrance ceremony for the Chunin exams, the three raced towards the first exam venue in the time provided in order to not get eliminated. Bypassing all traps and obstacles on their route, the team made it to exam venue B. There, the team participated in a true or false question given by Sai, which resulted in all the competitors falling into a pit that contained a pool of ink. Having been saved from falling into the ink by Shikadai alongside Chōchō, Team 10 passed the first round. 3 days later, for the second round of the exams, Team 10 competed in a game of Capture the Flag against a Kusagakure team. After subduing an enemy from capturing his flag, Chōchō obtained an enemy team's flag, resulting in their team progressing to the final round of the exams. On the day of the final round, the event was structured as a 1 vs 1 tournament, leading to Inojin being pitted against Araya. Having been defeated, Inojin was eliminated from the exams. He and his teammates cheered for Boruto when he defeated Shinki to win the tournament, but were shocked when learning that he was caught cheating. When Momoshiki and Kinshiki Otsutsuki appeared and began devastating the arena, Inojin used his drawings to assist in the evacuation of civilians. A few days after the attack, Inojin noted their team was getting a lot of work due to Shikadai overdoing his performance during the exams. Chōchō Arc. In the anime, when the lead actors of a popular TV drama, Tomaru and Ashina, received a death threat if they continued filming their show, Team 10 was assigned to protect the actors alongside Team 7. Inojin and his team were assigned to watch Tomaru, which Inojin was upset about, hoping to have been assigned to the beautiful Ashina. Later, a masked attacker managed to capture Tomaru. A ransom was left that demanded 20 million ryo and for Ashina to be the one to deliver it. During the exchange, as Konohamaru already captured the attacker and disguised himself as the Ame Nin, Ashina was revealed to be the mastermind behind the assaults, as she desperately wanted to rekindle her fame as an actress. In a last blind effort to keep her fame by burying the truth, she attempted to blow up the area. While Konohamaru stopped her from using them, the explosive tags went off, causing a landslide, which the Konoha Nin quickly saved the spectators from. Afterwards, Ashina was arrested. Mitsuki's Disappearance Arc. In the anime, after Mitsuki's apparent betrayal of Konoha, the village was put on lockdown. Despite this, Boruto and Sarada decided to sneak out to find Mitsuki. Team 10 was assigned to find and bring back the two Genin. The following day, they managed to intercept them. As the two refused to come back peacefully, they created a distraction and then attempted a decoy with Boruto's shadow clones. This succeeded in splitting up Team Moegi between the Jonin and her students. Sarada and Boruto were soon intercepted by their friends, who through Shikadai's strategy easily anticipated their tactics to quickly subdue them. While ready to take them back, Shikadai noticed the snake. Once learning that a message was left on it for Mitsuki, Shikadai realized that the situation had too many inconsistencies to brand Mitsuki a traitor. Wanting to find answers, Shikadai convinced his teammates to help Boruto and Sarada. Eventually, they found themselves in a foggy canyon. As they began wandering about aimlessly, they found a large palace, assuming that it must be the Ryuchi Cave. Inside, they found to their surprise a very lavish setting and were greeted by a beautiful young woman. Saying that the White Snake Sage was expecting them, the woman invited them to eat a large feast. As the others began to enjoy themselves, the woman insisted that after they eat, they could ask the sage about Mitsuki. Boruto realized the woman was deceiving them as he never mentioned Mitsuki by name. The woman revealed herself to be a snake creature, and the palace and food were but illusions to test the guests. Applauding Boruto's fortitude, she explained that to see the sage, one must pass a series of tests. If they fail, the snake servants may eat the guests. As only Boruto wished to speak with the sage, Inojin and the others were separated and knocked out. Ultimately proving his resolve, Boruto passed the other tests. Once Inojin and the others were reunited with Boruto, they met with the White Snake Sage, surprised to see that she was a small and frail-looking reptilian woman. While surprised that someone would risk meeting with her for something other than learning senjutsu, the sage insisted that she couldn't help give answers beyond mastery of it. Boruto refused to give up, begging the sage to reconsider. Giving into Boruto's stubbornness, the sage agreed to help analyze Mitsuki's snake only if they first brought to her the reverse scale of the giant snake Garaga, who was located in the most dangerous part of the cave. Boruto and the group accepted. Accepting that Boruto upheld his part of the deal, the sage revealed the secret thoughts inside Mitsuki's snake, revealing that Mitsuki feigned killing a guard to save his life. Still unclear why Mitsuki joined the attackers, but knowing where he headed, they went off to the Land of Earth. As the group began to approach the Land of Earth's border, Shikadai had Inojin and Chōchō to return to the village to report their findings. Along the way, the two found a group of Jonin paralyzed on the field. They decided to investigate. Following this, Inojin and Chōchō turned back to help their friends. They arrived in time as they struggled against Kokuyo. The Ino Shikacho trio decided to hold off the artificial man while Boruto and Sarada went off ahead. Despite their perfect team formations, the enemy was able to repel all of them. Ultimately, the trio was forced to retreat. The trio soon after caught up to their friends, where they learned of Mitsuki's betrayal upon attacking Boruto and leaving with the enemies. While caring for Boruto, Inojin discovered a miniature and imperfect Akuta that became very fond of him. After Boruto awoke, the group discussed whether to return to Konohagakure with their findings, or push forward to find the truth about these new enemies that posed a threat to the peaceful times. Ultimately, it was agreed to go venture on to Iwagakure and retrieve Mitsuki. Boruto suggested that they go seek the help of Onoki. Upon arriving outside the village, Inojin was chosen to stay behind, as the Akuta with them would draw too much attention. While hiding in a cave, realizing that the tiny creature didn't like being called an Akuta, Inojin decided to give it a new name of Akun, which it liked, while Inojin himself became more attached to the creature. Inojin began attempting to teach it his friends' names, but only could refer to them in silly nicknames. Decided that they'd waited long enough, the group decided to look for their friends. They instead found an injured Akatsuchi. They then noticed an explosion. Realizing that it could be their friends, Inojin was chosen to take Akatsuchi back to the cave while Sarada and Chōchō went to investigate. Back at the cave, the hideout was found out by Kirara. As she attacked Akun, Inojin tried to defend it and seal her, only to be subdued by her genjutsu. Inojin was used as a pawn to get close to Boruto and the others, where he quickly subdued his friend. Inojin was detained himself when the genjutsu was undone. He was brought back with his fellow captured genin and Onoki to the village. Once arriving, they learned that all of Iwagakure was taken over by Ku as an extra measure to keep the outside world from learning of his plans. When contorting the second in command, he voiced his desire to transplant human hearts into fabrications as it would sustain them. Onoki refused on the grounds that it went against the purpose of saving lives. Deciding that Onoki was too sentimental to see the bigger picture, Ku usurped the third Tsuchikage. Before Ku could move forward with his plan, Shikadai appeared, using a diversion to help his friends escape. They were soon intercepted by Kokuyo. Inojin and his teammates decided to face the foe while Boruto and Sarada moved on. Kokuyo's advanced physical prowess quickly adapted to the Ino Shikacho's previously shown attack patterns and forced them back. Using a plan of Shikadai's, they were able to lead Kokuyo into a trap. While nearly working, the foe proved too strong and moved in to finish Inojin. Instead, Inojin was saved by the efforts of Akun. The creature's efforts let Chōchō land the final blow and finish their foe, but not before Akun was struck down. Inojin held his fallen friend closely, chastising him for being so reckless, and wept as the tiny Akuta crumbled into dust. Ultimately, the fabrications were defeated thanks to the personal sacrifice of the third Tsuchikage. While wanting to stay for the funeral, Naruto sent Inojin and his friends back to Konohagakure. Before leaving, Inojin made a grave for Akun, placing the remains of its mask and a drawing of the Akuta on top. Time Slip Arc. In the anime, Inojin joined the other genin in testing out new surveillance equipment designed to follow their location. During the field test, Uroshiki Otsutsuki was spotted in the area. Inojin joined several other Konoha nin in pursuing him. However, this turned out to be a diversion by the alien who placed a genjutsu on them to let him sneak back into the village. Sometime later, after Urashiki was finally defeated, Sumire's transfer from her Genin team to the Scientific Ninja Weapons team came through. From this, Inojin joined his friends in a farewell party for the former class rep. They also met Sumire's replacement for Team 15, Tsubaki Kurogane, a samurai student from the Land of Iron. Following a moment of hesitation during a mission, Inojin asked his parents to help him train his mind-body switch technique. When he failed to stop Chōchō from having potato chips during training, he wanted to stop. Ino and Sai began arguing over how to train him, which escalated to a fight about them. Inojin failed to stop them with the jutsu by force, but was able to take over his mother when he shared his motivation behind wanting to master the jutsu. After Sai hugged her on Chōchō's advice, they stopped fighting. The following day, Inojin treats Chōchō to a meal, but takes her over and eats it in her body, showing off to Team 7. Mujina Bandits Arc. Later, Inojin and his friends opened their Extreme Shinobi Picture Scrolls cards packets together, during which he got a second Hokage card. In the anime, they then meet Tento Madoka, son of the Fire Daimyo. Seeing that Iwabi has a rare 7th Hokage card that he was looking for, he begged Iwabi to sell it to him, but Iwabi refused. Trying to sway Iwabi, Tento began buying up Iwabi's favorite hangouts. As Iwabi got angry and was ready to hit Tento, Boruto Uzumaki stepped in to stop him. He insisted that having a lot of money is nothing special. While Tento didn't think much of Boruto as he wasn't made a trading card yet, Boruto insisted that one day he will be powerful and cool enough to be added to the game. Intrigued by Boruto, Tento decided to leave Iwabi and his friends alone. In the anime, Inojin later learned how to perform medical ninjutsu under Sakura Uchiha's guidance. Kara Actuation Arc. In the anime, Inojin was assigned with his team to join Team Shinki in the search for Urashiki's remaining puppet in the Land of Wind. On the way to the mission, Inojin's team decided to stop for a bit to eat, where they bumped into Deepa, who casually ignored them. Once inside the restaurant, they were horrified to see that everyone in it was slaughtered, wondering if Deepa was the one responsible. After reporting their findings to Sunagakure, Inojin's team met up with Shinki's team. While Shikadai was the highest ranking ninja in the group as a chunin, they decided to let Shinki lead the way as he knew the area better. Upon discovering the puppet, they were encountered by Deepa, who demanded to be given the puppet. When they refused, he pelted them with a barrage of carbon cubes that even Shinki's iron sand wall couldn't completely resist. Shikadai developed a strategy to detain Deepa long enough for Shinki to strike. While seemingly working, Shinki's black iron fist was completely ineffective against Deepa's super durable body, who swiftly defeated them. Shinki used the last of his strength to destroy the puppet rather than let Deepa have it, and Deepa let them live. After returning to the village and reporting what happened, Inojin and Chōchō were convinced by Shikadai to help Boruto in his training to defeat Deepa's durable body. Shikadai decided that the key was focusing Boruto's Rasengan power on a key point. Despite their long hours of effort, they had little success. Ultimately, Inojin had to call it a day as it was getting late and he didn't want to face his mother's fury. Later, after Boruto and his team's victory over Deepa, Inojin and his friends found Denki setting up an experiment to improve radio communications. Inojin and the others decided to help him with the work. It ultimately worked, but failed to maintain stability. Denki, however, remained determined to improve the technology. Inojin joined everyone in cheering. When Ino decided to perform a trial run of the newly overhauled sensing system, Inojin was asked to participate, along with all other shinobi with sensing skills. He was paired up with fellow clansman Kohan and learned that his friends Boruto and Shikadai would also participate as mock intruders. During the morning, he underperformed and was unable to apprehend a single target. Ino apologized for making him take part in the test when he had little interest in sensing. He confessed to his father he thought his mother was disappointed in him, so Sai explained that her dedication to sensing comes from looking up to her father, who died in the 4th Shinobi World War. During the afternoon, after Kohan gave him a few pointers, he detected a strange registered chakra signature. After investigating with Boruto and Shikadai, they discovered a recent addition to the bingo book had mimicked a registered chakra signature to avoid detection. Inojin was able to extend his sensing range through his super beast imitating drawing, and the three were able to capture the intruder. His discovery was deemed valuable and the sensing system was modified to account for it. Inojin asked Ino if she was going to quit Yamanaka Flowers, but she assured him she treasured both jobs and encouraged him to do what he enjoyed. Owl Arc. In the anime, Inojin attended the memorial service for the fallen people of the 4th Shinobi World War. Later, at the training hall, Inojin watched Boruto fight the 7th Hokage alongside other genin. Kawaki Arc. When Team 7 returned from a mission with Kawaki, it was decided that the Hokage would watch over him. As Kawaki began to warm up to Boruto and his family, Inojin eventually met the boy. He and the others began teaching him extreme shinobi picture scrolls. Later, Inojin and Shikadai discussed Kawaki's trustworthiness while playing cards, noting how their parents felt about him. Shikadai and Inojin later noticed Boruto and Mitsuki rushing from a distance and wondered what was happening. Later, after the village was infiltrated and attacked by Jigen, using Kawaki's Kama as a portal to get in, the village was put on high alert. While the Ino-Shikacho trio were training, they were approached by Kara's chief scientist, Amado. Finding him shady, the Genin attempted to restrain him. Amado used his tech to easily repel Shikadai's technique and knocked him out with the drug. He strapped a bomb on Shikadai, which was set to go off in 48 hours. Sai and other Konoha-nin then appeared after being alerted by Inojin with the mind-body transmission technique through his mother. Amado asked to speak with Shikamaru, who is given communication via Ino's telepathic aid. Amado stated firmly that he wished to defect to Konoha, offering his full intel on Kara and his resources, their 10 tails, and even on the Otsutsuki. Deciding to hear the man out, Naruto ordered the man be brought in for questioning. Post-Kawaki Arc. Following the defeat of Ishiki Otsutsuki, Boruto was put indefinitely off active duty to be monitored for his Kama. Inojin and his friends decided to talk about this, as they were all concerned about Boruto's future. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.